Everyone, Black High Priestess. Yeah, I had a little more energy. I did an upload earlier. I did a couple uploads today already. So even though I've been feeling kind of sick, I have been purging some energies. That is part of me being sick. You know, it's the mucus, it's the weather, but you know, just a little bit is just dealing with some things emotionally that it just lowers my immune system a lot. So I'll be drinking tea. Might have a smoke, I don't know. But I do have my, you know, my leg buff fetish. On the picture, I guess I just wanted to talk about some things I believe is maybe of a bit of a rant. It's kind of random, but I am gonna start off with the stitchiomancy. So I'm just gonna do a bibliomancy here and start off with a message from the Most High. Oh, Isaiah 5:24. Therefore, just as a tongue of fire eats up the stubble, and into the flames mere dried grass sinks down, their very rootstock will become just like a musty smell, and their blossom itself will go up just like powder, because they have rejected the law of Jehovah of armies, and the saying of the Holy One of Israel they have disrespected. Whoa. Well, on that note, some of the things I believe. I will start with the things that I believe about the black race and our origins, our present, and a little bit of our future. Me as a diviner, I noticed that my gift of divination tends to work well with the past. Divining past lives and past esoterics and things. And even though time is an illusion, and time deals with Saturn and the black box of the Matrix, the future is still, those are things that I kind of need assistance. I need to use my divination tools more so to receive future messages. And I think that does have a lot to do with the gift of divination. I do believe that it does come from the Most High. I do believe that people have gifts. And that divination is a gift, but again, and back to voodoo, you know, the Ifa oracle bird, the white bird in Ifa, that is the oracle of divination. However, Papa Legba can jumble any messages that the Ifa oracle relays, meaning Legba, the left-hand path, the left hand of God, the Punisher, still has more power and authority than the right hand of God, than divination. I won't say then Obatala. I won't say that, but not more so than the right hand of God. But in a way, yeah, because the fact that evil does rule right now, but divination can be jumbled. Divination can be false or inaccurate, and the paths can change, can switch around, you know, can move around like a Rubik's Cube. Things can be shifted, especially when you're into occult science and you know how to shift realities. And there are laws of science, just like there's laws of nature. So you know, some of the things I believe in terms of the laws, and I believe in the power of 3, and I believe in the power of 4, meaning the power of the cone and the cone-shaped hat, you know, of witches, and also the power of 4, which is the divine masculine, which is the 4 corners, the cross, the cube. So again, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit deals with the divine Trinity. But what they don't tell you is that the Holy Spirit is nothing but the mother. Christianity hates black women. The God of Christianity hates black women. And although that God seems like he is the true God, that is not the Most High. That is a false deity in a lesser heaven. And it is not our creators, Damballa and Aida Wado. The Bible does contain some mysteries, but the Bible has been corrupted. It is a tool, but it's not true, and it's not the sacred text. It is corrupted towards white male dominance. It is corrupted to support white male patriarchal dominance of the globe, and that's exactly what Christianity does. And if you're a black woman reading passages in text in the Bible looking for hope, you may find it. That's why I do stitchomancy, because if you read the Bible in full, you will see that you're not going to find any salvation as a black woman. All of the things in the Bible support men mistreating women, support women being slaves, support black people being slaves, support women having to take responsibility for a man's mistakes, support polygamy only for a man, not for a woman, support the gift of divination for a man, not for a woman, support being a king and being a royal for a man, not for a woman, support all of these things. The Bible is corrupted. And again, the feminine principles, the feminine voice was removed, and the African principles were removed. So if you do believe in the Bible, you will still be under the illusion that black people sprung up out of the earth just in time for white people to enslave us. Because the Bible and most Hollywood movies depict the tribe of Israel as Caucasians. And you got white people now that are speaking out about that lie. So, let me sip. So I do believe in the teachings of the Bible, and I do believe that the teachings like the 10 Commandments, like, you know, instructions on how to live, you know, a pure divine lifestyle as a human, I do believe in those things. I do believe if you go according to the 10 Commandments and go according to the laws set in place for humans, that you will prosper. And even if you don't or didn't come from a circumstance where you had the privilege of just, you know, being able to live that life, if you have to struggle, which most people do, very few people are just okay with life. The majority of us are born in situations where we have to struggle. And the majority meaning, you know, indigenous humanity that was enslaved. That is the majority. All around the world. So that is another belief that I hold. And the reason these are called beliefs is because I make it clear about the things that I know and the things that I believe. Meaning belief, I don't like to say in my case that there's still room for doubt, but there is still room for proof. So that's why I use that word in this context, because these are the things that I've come to find true, but I'm still open to more evidence to clarify these things that I have come to believe and preach. So I do believe that the black man is inferior. However, I do believe moving into another country will give me a different picture, but I'm not banking on that. I believe the black man is inferior compared to other races of men and compared to the black woman. And that's directly related to my personal experiences growing up in America and seeing what my mom went through and what she taught us, but also seeing that I was lucky to have a mother who didn't want me to be a single mom like she was, and who took steps to make sure that that didn't happen to me, and a father who participated enough, you know, in our life to take steps to make sure that we were well off, to make sure that we were better than most black people from where I'm from, who have no education. The lack of education in the black community is directly related to teen pregnancy and single motherhood. People who are uneducated don't understand the power of sex. They were not raised to, they were not taught about sex. And they were not taught morals. And again, that is directly related to education, because you can go to church. I know people who were raised as Jehovah's Witnesses, raised in the church and everything, and still made decisions against how they were taught. So education does have a lot to do with it. But your parents instilling it, you applying that, you taking that information and applying it, that's when you become wise. And so I do believe there is a lot of wisdom in listening to your elders, listening to people who help you avoid making mistakes by giving their testimony. But I believe that black women should not have children unless you're married for at least 3 years. I've heard some people say 3 to 5 years, you know what I'm saying? I agree with that. But the reason black people are still in poverty is because black people fuck like rabbits and take no responsibility for it. And that means, and then when the government has to come in and step in, because what I'm saying is, when a man and a woman get together, when you don't have enough education or enough respect for yourself or enough respect for your seed that you didn't have yet, but that is within you and living within you and can be brought to life through sex with the opposite sex, when you don't care and you don't have enough respect and you weren't raised to find that act sacred, it takes two people. And if you're not married as a woman, women, for the most part, should be taught, because one thing I was blessed to have a single mother is that I was taught about the downside of being a woman at a young age. Some women become single mothers because maybe they thought it would be easy because they were never taught about the downside. Maybe they had a man around, and so they believed that they always would. Maybe they had mothers and women around who said, I will help you, or fathers who said, I'll help you, so they didn't see it as a burden. But when you're taught at a young age the disadvantages of being a black woman in America, you become a little wiser and you become a little smarter, and you say, you know what, I'm going to pursue education so I can get myself out of this poverty hole, because if you come from poverty, you know reality. Most people don't know reality because they didn't come from poverty. They've always had what they've needed, and they've never had to work day in and day out and only get a fraction of what you deserve out of life. They've never had to do that. They've never gone through that. They've never had to scrape themselves out of a hole that they didn't dig. So I don't believe black women should have children, because you're black and you're already the bottom of the barrel in terms of getting married just because your skin is dark. So why would you want to give birth? If you are doing it out of a moral value, more power to you. That is the only way I would condone a single black woman having a baby out of wedlock. If you are just simply taking responsibility for the mistake that you made, because it is a mistake. That is exactly what it is. You have put your child in slavery. You bore a child into slavery. If you as a black woman are well off and financially stable and you decide to have a baby because you're well off and you can't find a man who's adequate, but your clock is ticking, more power to you too. Because at that point, a man is just a sperm donor. And if you've done what you need to do and you're well off and you're a little bit more mature and you've got a biological clock ticking, well, I don't blame you, because you can take care of yourself, you can take care of the child, and most men ain't shit. Particularly men of our race. The ones who are good are already married and faithful. There's no such thing as a good black man who has money but hates black women. And most good black men are murdered or they're unavailable. So, I believe that white people are not ready to be in a world where black people know themselves and look at white people differently. I think white people, for the most part, they know and understand there's different types of people no matter what race or ethnicity or sex you are. People are diverse. If I had to say there's two types of people, there's good and there's evil. Doesn't matter what race, doesn't matter. And another thing I believe is I don't believe the Hebrew Israelites. I do believe the original Hebrew Israelites were in fact of Central Africa, what we now consider the region of Ethiopia, but that general region of Africa. Yeah, I do believe that life started there and spread out. And things got separated and things like that, Pangea, whatever you want to call it, Tower of Babel. I do believe in those things. I do believe humanity was united, and I do believe God separated humanity and made 72 different ethnicities once humanity came together under the rule of Nimrod and challenged God by building the Tower of Babel. I know that's right, baby. So, I do believe God is the reason for separating the races. And therefore, I do believe God supports the white supremacy. That's why America has no problem slapping "In God We Trust" on money, even though it goes against what the Bible teaches. The fact of the matter is the God of the Bible, of religion, supports white supremacy and hates the black woman. So for white people to be ready to experience divinity as them not being the standard of divinity, the Caucasian is not ready for that. Talk to most Caucasians and they have the inherent belief that God is a white man. But if you also talk to most Caucasians, you will see that their behavior shows you that they know that they are not the original people of the Bible, because their nature is not the nature of the people in the Bible. From the description of the phenotypes to the fact that the Israelites were enslaved, that is not speaking of the Caucasian. However, the chosen few are not just African or Hebrew Israelites or black. The chosen few are the people who have the temple of the Messiah, the temple of Christ within them. That's who the chosen few is, and it has nothing to do with your ethnicity or your sex. It has to do with whether or not you have gotten the corrupt aspect of the Bible that supports white supremacy, that supports hatred of the black women, that supports enslaving the black race, that supports treating women like sex slaves and baby making machines. And you have actually found what it means to be Christ-like and walking in that path. And you live a life of helping and supporting others, and most importantly, being of service to others. I believe the highest position you can be in is not a king or a queen, but to be of service. That is how you become a king or a queen. You become of service. That is the highest position. That is the most honorable position that God can give anyone, is to be of service to others. And you can't be of service if you have nothing to offer. Most people are parasites, just consuming, and need to die off. Need to be eliminated, so the people who are the keepers of this planet can thrive and restore and rebuild what everyone who needs to be eliminated messed up. I believe that God makes good people suffer, the God of the Bible. I believe good people suffer because the God of the Bible is corrupt and mocks the creators, the true creators, because the architect knows that he's being worshipped as the creator, and he's not. He's not the divine serpents of the Kundalini, of the tree of life. He mocks. I believe the war in heaven was because the dragon chose to challenge God. And Lucifer took the side of the dragon. And the angels came down with Lucifer because Lucifer was not so much concerned with mating with women, but the fairness of the angels' rights to do so. Did they? I mean, you still went against the architect, the creator, but again, that was a challenge. And those that fell, did not want to be enslaved to this God in heaven. And when they saw that humanity was given things that they desired, namely the woman, angels did not have sex organs. I believe in marriage because that's the design, and that's what works best. Races that are in power, nations that are in power, their leaders are not polygamous. The people that they follow are not single men who believe in polygamy, who have never shown their ability to relate and protect and provide for one woman. They're men who have been married, whose wives are creating heirs to the throne. Black people are inferior because the black man is inferior, and he has no accountability. And I believe that now that is on the black man. It has nothing to do with the conditions that the white man has created. It has 100% to do with the black man's privilege from the conditions that the white man has created. All the black man has to do is just be just a sex symbol and have no accountability. And that's why the black man loves the white woman, because the white woman is already spoken for by the white man. She can go enjoy a sexual chemistry with the black man, and then when she's done having fun, she can go right back to white men and be taken care of and protected for and provided for. Or she can stay with the black man who chose her because she's white and he's got a little bit of money, and now he hates black women, even though he was raised by a black woman, even though he was taken care of by black women. Even though he probably has a baby by a black woman, he still is going to marry the white woman because she's white, and white women know that. So they'll stick with a black guy if he has the same amount of money that white men have. But most of the time, when she's done having sex with him and when she is sick of his inferiority, she'll go right to a superior man when she's ready to settle down and be taken care of, or when she's sick of being with an inferior man and is ready to be with a real man. She'll go right back to her society. Black women don't have that option. So the reason a black man loves the white woman is because he has no accountability toward her. He can feel like a man because she's already spoken for. He doesn't have to protect or provide for her. The white man has already done that. All he has to do is allow her to make him feel like something that he's not, which is a man. I believe that black men used to be different. And I believe that breed of black men has died off, or has died off with the baby boomers, which are getting up in age now. But we can look at the evolution of the black man through media, because the black man is easily manipulated by media. He'll do whatever media tells him to do, just like most black women will. They'll marginalize themselves to the characters that they see on media. So we can see the evolution of the black man through the evolution of hip-hop music, which used to speak about oppression, and Tupac used to talk about the importance of loving the black woman. Gee, how many black men go around talking about Tupac but hate black women? But will quote Tupac. How many black men all post about hip-hop and everything but don't even know the history of it, don't even know the history of the griots, the storytellers, the gifted African men who could tell stories creatively in rhyme? How many black men actually stand true to hip-hop being an art form of rebellion that gave voice to the black oppressed and the oppressed in general? How are you a hip-hop artist when you hate black women? And most black men who listen to hip-hop develop a hatred for black women no matter what they say or what they tell you. Their actions will show you. They don't want to deal with a black woman. They don't. They don't want to deal with a black woman who has any sense of power or respect for herself or education. Because most black men are not educated. Black women are. But black men, for the most part, are not. That's why black men are always telling black women what they need to do. You need to read this, or you should check out that. If you look on black women's videos, and then you look at the comments that black men make, they're always trying to tell a black woman what she needs to know. And black men never just listen to a black woman. They always want to one-up her and make himself seem like he's more intelligent. The reason black men hate black women is because the black woman has become far superior to him in America. The black woman has overcome her conditions. The black man has gotten worse, and no one respects him. No one respects him. Not even the white women who use him for sex. They respect him the least. The black man is the sex doll. So when you don't see TV shows like Bill Cosby or even Sanford and Son, where it shows that black men are just as capable of stepping up to the plate in the absence of a spouse. And they are always depicting black women as if black women choose to get pregnant by themselves and be in the worst condition that any woman could ever be in. No, you're in that condition because you're black. And a lot of times because you're uneducated and immoral. But for the most part, you're uneducated and immoral because you're black and you come from slavery and you were bred to be a sex slave. You were sold, your families were separated, you know what I'm saying? And there's no education. So I do believe education. I'm not necessarily talking about going to college, because college is a scam to keep people who are in poverty in debt by saying that you have to get this education, but once you do, there's not going to be jobs for you and you'll be in debt. So you're never out of poverty. You just have knowledge that won't get you paid. So college is a scam to keep black people in debt slavery. College is a scam to keep black people in debt slavery. Why black people? Because black people have the least resources because we were enslaved. White people have the most because their grandfathers had everything that my grandmothers and fathers were enslaved building for them, working for them. And this is mostly financial. I'm not saying that white people don't work hard and don't work. So that is a misconception, that white people don't work and they're lazy and they only, no, it's the way white people work. White people work smarter, not harder. White people get inferior people to do the work for them. Yeah. But there are times where, white people have done things on their own, just like Africans have. The difference is the things that Africans have done in the absence of white people remain a mystery, namely pyramids. But the lack of education in the black community is a lot why black people are inferior. We haven't addressed the effects of slavery because white people stay silent, have been silent because they benefit, and black people have allowed slavery to get to us. Yeah, we overcame things like in Black Wall Street, and I don't consider Barack Obama an achievement. I do consider Barack Obama a historical event. But that was not an achievement for black people. If anything, it was an achievement for the dark-skinned black woman to be shown in the position that the world has never seen her in since ancient Kemet. But the backlash of hatred for black women since Michelle Obama has became the first lady, was uncalled for. But it shows how powerful it is and how much the world is not ready to have a black woman lead, when the fact is the only one fit to lead this world is the black woman, because she can lead this world on her own. She don't need a man to do it. That's who you want to lead. Someone who has proven that they can take responsibility for things with no help. That is who is fit to lead. I'm not talking about Oprah. Fuck Oprah. I'll say it a little louder. Fuck Oprah. Fuck Oprah. Yeah, I can't say that because I'm supposed to not say anything negative about black women. So I have to check myself. I have to check myself saying that, but it's very hard for me to consider her a black woman. Because a lot of these bougie, elite Hollywood mogul sellouts, the reason I say fuck Oprah is because I recently watched a clip of how her and Yolanza, that other dumb broad, these bougie black people who I doubt have ever struggled. Sometimes I feel like they make these background stories up just to create a nice persona for these slaves that they put to keep the rest of the slaves in check. And I saw the way that she was treating this sister who was a single mom who clearly came to the show for some help and suggestions, and this black man and these two black women, Oprah and Yolanda, whatever her name is, Oprah's little girlfriend, they were just completely and utterly disrespectful to the condition of a single mother. And you could tell that they had never been single mothers, nor had they been really raised by a single mother, or had experienced any condition of single motherhood, because they had no sympathy, no empathy, and no connection to that condition. And when a person seeks out help, and I've been guilty of kind of giving like harsh criticism and giving like tough love, but they weren't coming from a place of love and being harsh because they wanted this person to be better and do better, and they were feeling for that person. They were coming from a position of, I'm making money off of this, and this is a hot topic right now, and we can make money off of black women, because single black women are a huge demographic. Single black mothers are a huge demographic that people make money off of, that entertainment makes money off of, that is targeted by the media for things that they know. The media does surveys and polls to figure out how to boost their ratings. So they put people out and they market people who they know will collect a demographic and keep those ratings and keep the money flowing for this demographic. But single black mothers need to be finding support from other, you guys do kind of find support from other single black mothers. That's one thing I have experienced just in my city. My choice to not be a mother and to wait till I'm married to have a child has kind of put a disconnect between me and the people I'm trying to help most, which are black women. But when a lot of black women are single mothers, or in that condition, or not always single mothers, but are marginalized in a way where they feel that they feel ashamed or feel in competition or something. Just don't feel that they can actually relate, or deep down just make the assumption that, okay, Black High Priestess can't relate to me because I see her in a superficial way, but I don't see what she can offer me. I don't see what, and a lot of women see me as younger than them. And there's been times where a woman, she's a single mother, but she's actually younger than me, but she never bothered to ask my age. She just assumed because I'm skinny and because my body, you can tell that I haven't given birth. Even though I have men who still ask me, are you a mother? Just because I'm black. And most black women already have a baby out of wedlock, which says a lot about black women. And I don't want to talk negatively about black women, but I will say this: a lot of black men's hatred of black women comes from the fact that they were put in a condition to be raised by a single mother, and they see that white women for the most part don't make the irresponsible decision of having a baby out of wedlock, and so they start to hate black femininity. Not only because they see their mother as an inferior woman, but they see the other black women around them as inferior. Because there's a lot of times where, yeah, black men have said that they don't date black women, and, good black women have to bear the burden, just like good black men have to bear the burden of what bad black men have done. And when I say black men are inferior, that's grouping the good ones in, because the bad outweighs the good. But, black women, the way that single mothers tend to deal with the boys, and the fact that black women do become single mothers, as if you don't know what will happen, and as if you don't know that men are immature and irresponsible, as if you didn't know that the most black men have no regard for the responsibility of fatherhood. So that's why a lot of good black men, or I won't say the good black men, because you're not a good black man if you can't think outside the box, but a lot of black men have this underlying subconscious hatred for black women because of the condition that they were put in by a black woman. And that is not fair. But, you know, that is one of the things, you know, black women, you're already the bottom of the barrel to be chosen for marriage just because you're that. Why would you want to put yourself in a position where you make that even, where you make that likelihood of you getting married even less by having a baby out of wedlock? Because if a man is going to be around, he will marry you. He'll marry you. And marriage doesn't have to be about the wedding. It's about the commitment. Stop thinking marriage is about the wedding. It's about the commitment. I would suggest to black women, I mean, you know, this is something that I want to do for myself, but it's just like the next time that a guy petitions me for sex, or if I'm dating someone and it gets to that point, I would have to ask for a ring. I wouldn't need a wedding, but I will need a marriage level commitment before I share my body with another man, because I've just been through too much, especially with black men. I've been through too much, and I know how racist white men are. I've been through that too. So I'm not saying that I do not encourage the black woman to hate black men and go with white men, but I do encourage black women to develop the mentality that the black man is for the most part inferior, and most of the good ones are already married. Because that's what good men do. They get married and they stay married. And they stay committed to their vows. So the older you get, the more the less available good men become. Because if he's a good man, he's always been a good man. I'm not saying that you can't become a good man, but the way the world is going, men don't have to be men. Women have to be men and women and everything else, especially if you're black. So I do believe that marriage is the best way, especially for black women who have been through too much with men. Make marriage a standard. If you're not ready to get married, that's fine. But if you don't want to keep dealing with bullshit just because you're a black woman, put that on the Most High and put that out there. We've got a super moon. The blue moon aspect, I think, is more prevalent for me. For tomorrow, it's going to be like a blue moon or whatever. But put the intention out, black women, that you don't want to suffer anymore. If you have been in romance and in, you know, single motherhood, and, you know, just being a dark-skinned woman in America, whatever the circumstances. In this full blue moon coming up in the next 24 hours, just make sure that you put out to the Most High and to the Holy Spirit, which is the mother. I encourage you to call her Yemaya. But put, you know, or Oya. Especially if you're a black woman, I would go with Oya, because Oya does not lack anything, whereas Yemaya lacks, Oshun lacks, but Oya does not lack. Oya is sweet and bitter. Okay, Oya is life and death. Oya is Duafe, you know what I'm saying, as well as a guerrero, a guerrera, you know, so a warrior. So Oya does not lack. She is the triple black femininity. Whereas Yemaya, she deals with the maternity. She's specific to maternity. But again, Oya and Yemaya would be like the divine sisters, the opposite of, or the dichotomy of femininity, the red and the blue. Oshun is still very young. That's why Oshun is not really supposed to have initiates. No one's supposed to be under the house of Oshun. That's why Oshun goes with Yemaya, because Oshun is jealous. She's very jealous of Oya. She's very jealous of black women. because Oshun, like Miriam, or like Martha in the Bible, she was turned into a leper. Oshun was turned into a leper because of her jealousy and her talking and her disrespect for the original woman. So, you know, I talk about Oshun like that because, you know, I do have her mysteries. But it's important for black women to understand some of these mysteries too, because a lot of black women pursue spirituality and everything, but deep down you're still worshiping the white feminine aspect of whatever you go to. That's why Ifa is whitewashed. Ifa is a white man's religion. And voodoo, you know what I'm saying, you got a lot of black women still elevating the corrupted spirits, namely Ejuli Freda, who is often depicted as a white woman. But it's not that she's white, it's her youth, her youthful femininity, and the fact that she was albino. You know, so, again, when black women, when you're calling on the black goddesses, deal with Oya or Yemoya. I don't trust Oshun with black women. If you are a light-skinned woman, I would recommend you calling on Oshun, but do be careful because you don't want to find yourself competing with dark-skinned women. But I would, you know, I would be careful with Oshun unless you have a heart that cannot be corrupted by her illusions. So I think those are just some things I'll talk about. I don't want to get into some of the other stuff, but I do believe in the firmament dome, which is biblical. I do believe in the holographic universe. I do believe in the time cube, that the matrix that we're all in. I believe in the royal bloodline, which is the genetic of the Naga, which are the dragons and drakes. So vampires are lepers that have a sun allergy, whereas drakes are the day drakes, meaning day walkers, meaning they deal with the sun and the moon energy. Remember, Akasha was the first vampire, and she was a black woman, and the Akashic records deal with the entire history of the planet and the omniverse. So that is a black woman. So again, a queen is the original definition of a queen is a female dragon. A lot of people don't know that. The inclination to call ourselves kings and queens comes from the fact that we hold the original crown, which is your hair, your sacred spiraled hair, which was the original crown. And that's why black people are related to dragons, and we are the royal bloodline, which comes from the Naga, the dragons, the Damballa and Aida Wedo, the creators. And that is the royal bloodline of the drakes, which are dragons. Vampires are the false royal bloodline. They are cannibals. They've taken over, and they have a sun allergy, and they are not the true bloodline. They are lepers, and they have no sexuality. That's why they can't do kundalini sex, because they don't have sexuality. They feed off people's energy. They don't have sex. So, you know, we are living with vampires. We're walking with vampires. So protect yourself, black people, because there's a lot of vampires that are seeking black energy right now. And black women, be careful of black men who are enslaved to a succubus, because these black men will come and seek out dark-skinned women with energy and take your fertile energy and then bring it back to the succubus that he's a slave to, and bring your energy back to her to feed off of. That's how succubus operate. They send out a man to be an incubus. He takes energy from a younger, more beautiful female, and he brings it back to the succubus so she can continue to skin change into something that she's not. And you got some men who do it too, like pimps. They'll send out a woman to serve as a succubus, and she'll find a man and she'll drain him of all his resources, and she'll keep him from uniting with a true wife, and she'll drain him of his money, she'll drain him of his resources, and then she'll go right back to the ex. So be careful of relationships with vampires and incubus and succubus. Look for the red flags so you don't waste, years of time and energy with the incubus or a vampire. I do have an upload on vampires, like an intro. Some of the things I believe about myself. The first goddess that possessed me was Bastet. Bastet came to me in the flesh, like, live a couple times. I saw her in my mirror twice before I got both of my cat children. So I do believe that I am a reincarnation of Bastet, and I have a strong connection to Catwoman and the Catwoman energy. Bastet and Sekhmet are different. I'm distinctly Bastet. So that is a belief of mine, that I am reincarnated Bastet. And that's why I stay in a temple energy, because the ancient Kemites knew the secrets of temple, of creating temple. So, and that also has to do with mummifying and creating immortality. So the pharaohs and the ancient Kemetics knew the secrets of immortality. And immortality means that you can reincarnate into different bodies, or that your god or goddess body is preserved through the mysteries of mummification, that you can re-enter your preserved body. Okay, or reanimate your preserved body. And that deals with zombies as well. That's why zombies are related to voodoo and black people, because voodoo holds the mysteries of mummification and bringing back to life that which has died. And the first case of that was Jesus of Nazareth, as well as Lazarus, which is San Lazaro, who we call Babaluaye in voodoo. So, but at this point, I would like to cut it short. I did try and stay along with the scripture that I read, which talks about going against the laws and order of the Most High. And so I do just want to put that out there, that those are some of the things that I believe. I will talk about some of my more esoteric beliefs, and I will touch on some more topics, but I do believe that there is a law and order, and there is chaos. And the reason I honor the Lord of the Left is because he deals with choice, chance, and change. And he deals with that chaos. And that's just the path that I'm on. And that is my gift, to deal with the left-hand path, in a right righteous way, which still deals with right. But the role of the high priestess is to maintain balance between the two polarities, which means black, white, light, dark, male, female, good and evil. So if you know, people say, how do you become a high priestess? Or some people will just slap high priestess on their name just because I make it look good, and they think that they have a right to just call themselves the high priestess of this or the high priestess of that. I don't know why women do that, why they encounter me and then call themselves and say, I'm the high priestess of rap, I'm the high priestess of yoga, I'm the high priestess of... Why can't you just be yourself of that? Why do you have to call yourself the high priestess? That means you're competing. That means you see the value in what I do, but you're trying to claim that, and you haven't earned that right. You don't hold the mysteries of balancing polarities. You don't even know what the definition of a high priestess is. You just like the attention and the divinity that I have and that I receive. But you are not that. So that is the role of the high priest and the high priestess. And the high priestess also brings the feminine principles of any polarity, just like the high priest brings the masculine principles and embodies those principles. That is the role of the high priest and the high priestess, to know and balance polarities and embody the principle of the sex that they are in. So very few of you know what that means and know how to do that. I do not appreciate you black women who like to condescend me, but then behind my back want to be like me. I know immediately. I can feel people's energy a mile away. I will know immediately whether you're jealous of me, whether you have respect for me, whether you're intimidated by me. I don't need my cards to read you. So black women, I've always known how you felt about me. You black women who I've encountered, who have had mixed feelings, and deep down you admire me, but you have no morality to respect me, because you're not a sister. You're a black woman out here trying to survive, and the only way you really know how to survive is to compete with real sisters who you're afraid are gonna take away the few black men who are still an option to you single mothers. And yeah, that's true. A lot of you black single mothers don't want the black high priestess around because I'm bringing a whole slew of femininity that you don't have to offer a man. Namely, not dragging a baby around. If a man is allergic to cats, that's the only thing that will take me off of the market. Because my cats are not optional. That's the only thing that would take me off of the market with a man, not another man's mistake. So I'm okay with, the way you single black mothers have treated me, because I know that you see me as direct competition for the few black men out here. And you don't want these black men to know I exist, because they will not be looking to you as eligible anymore because you're dragging around a baby. And I know a lot of you sisters like to try and hide the baby or whatever, but if some of you focus a little bit more on being a mother, then all of this business and stuff that you take so much pride in, people wouldn't be able to tell what's really going on with the son by the way that they act in public. It's hard enough when there's not a disciplinary in the home, and it's hard enough when your mother is helping you raise a boy, because now he's got two women who don't got a man a lot of times raising him, and if you're raising him. Some of you black women, you just pawn your children off on your mother or your grandmother, and then you go behave like a single woman. And then when you find a guy you like, and you got to tell him that you have a mistake at home, or I'm sorry, a child, that is directly related to the way a lot of black women will treat me, because I saw the value in myself at a young age. I was taught that value, and even though I have had self-esteem problems because of what I've experienced as a black woman, you know what I'm saying, because of the way I grew up, I didn't make the mistakes that a lot of black women make. And that makes me a threat. but it should make me somebody that you, not because I didn't make the mistakes, but because I've taken on a role and a responsibility in elevating black women. But a lot of black women would never elevate me. Never. Because a lot of black women only will do what makes them look good, not what makes them look bad. All right, peace and love.